About a little bit over a year ago, I had a cousin, a female that she was around my age with 2 kids, and she had colon cancer. And it was my first time ever coming to a hospice. Everybody was so nice, and I was here like almost every day after work coming to see her because I don't know, I felt like, oh my God, if it was me, you know, I have a son, and there were so many things that were going through my head, and I saw so many people suffering as well, you know, not just me, her kids, her. When I saw the smile on the nurses, the volunteers that were there every day, I saw God in them, you know, and I said, I want to be part of this. And I know I was going through a lot, and it was very hard to me, but when she passed away, I wanted to be part of the hospice. It was something that was calling me, and I had never heard of, you know, any volunteers, and I was like, oh my God, I just want to volunteer. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to find out.
I had 5 siblings, my mother and father, and they all gone on. And I'm alone. And before my last sister and my mother died, well, I myself had 4 major surgeries and a stroke. So I got up and was working, you know. I worked myself back. And I said then, if it was anything that I could do, I wouldn't mind doing it, because I felt as if God had left me here for me to bring happiness into someone else's life. And that's what I try to do every day.
Every time I go out and visit with somebody or come to home place and visit with somebody, sometimes I feel a little selfish because I enjoy talking to people and listening to their stories. I'll ask somebody, I say, well, how long have you been married? 40, 50, 60 years. How did you do that? Tell me about that. Tell me how y'all met. Tell me, you know. And they enjoy talking about it, but I feel like I'm learning, you know, what they went through. Or sometimes it'll be a World War II veteran, and they'll tell me some of their stories, you know, where they were and what happened to them, and, you know, what life was like back then. So sometimes I feel like I'm gaining far more than what I'm actually giving. I did have one man who said, you're so young, how can you even sit here and tell me about this? I was like, I'm not here to tell you about that. I'm just here to visit, you know. You're right, I don't know what you're going through. There's no way I could possibly know that. Doesn't mean I can't sit here and we can't visit and have a nice time.
Just a typical day, I come in and check my calls that I need to make. I like to get started early, so right at about 8 o'clock I'm calling somebody, and we talk briefly, you know, and I let them know why I'm calling, and it's usually because they've lost someone and they need somebody to talk to. And I think generally the people talk to people like me more so than they would their family. And they share love stories and secrets and things of their loved one, and that's neat. And it's nice that I can give back, because I feel like I've been blessed over the years. Well, you know what, this is probably the most emotional job I've ever had. And I think that's what kind of keeps me wanting to come back.
And then it's an exciting thing to go to the front door of a stranger's house. They know that you're coming because you've called, and they know why you're there. And so you find yourself walking into people's lives very quickly, not just into their front rooms and front or to their dens, but you walk into their hearts quite literally. And you never know going into these things when you're knocking on the front door if it's going to be 2 hours, 2 weeks, or 2 years. That's the thing about life, is there is no set time. And that's what our role as a volunteer, as a part of this family, is all about, is making our patients' time, those time frames, filled with joy and laughter if at all possible.
Serving on the board of directors allows you to see the organization from on high. So it's another way of volunteering. It's no better, no worse. We're just, my name badge just says David Nelson Volunteer, and that's what we all are in different roles, and there's places for everybody in our organization. A good question. I think all of us need to ask ourselves, what are we going to do with our time? What really does matter? Is it the stuff we accumulate? Is it the wealth that we have? Is it where we travel, who our friends are? And you find out it's really none of that. It's relationships, and it's the difference you can make in people's lives. So
what I have learned is, and I think it's the most important thing that we look at is, and death is not to be feared. And if we can show that to the families and show that to the patients, that's a good thing. It really is. Instead of our patients being here to fighting for their life, they're actually bringing a close to a lifetime of memories.
It's important to know that the patients are really being covered and that the volunteer enriches the life, if you will, of the patient and of the patient's family.
I like it because it kind of gives me the sense of giving back and being a part of something that's just so valuable to mankind, to not only just the community.
It's not sad at all. I mean, it's not about death. It's about life, really. I mean, these people, everybody you come in contact with, they're happy. They want, people to talk to. And it doesn't take a special person. It just takes a person.
All it takes is to walk down the halls of Home Place or to visit with one of the personnel, and you begin to feel the heartbeat. And it's not long before that becomes very contagious. That's what happens when you become a part of hospice. That heartbeat of service begins to pump through your life, and it becomes a part of who you are. That's the reason why I've been a part of it so long.